My name is Maryam. I'm here to talk about the Pegasus line of products. This will not be a demo because I'm not technical and our products are not that exciting when we demo them. But what I am here to talk about is really why Ethereum and why, we joined part of the HyperLedger community was because, one, there was no Ethereum enterprise client that was available, really focused within the community, and why we're really devoted the past few years of our lives to it. There's over 275,000 developers right now. 32 of the top 50 Forbes blockchain projects are based on Ethereum right now. There are over 3,000 dApps that have been built on Ethereum, and it's being used across 89 countries. So it's got pretty decent global reach from the past few years, and it's only really growing. So why are enterprises looking to Ethereum for their blockchain solutions? Part of it is the mainnet and having access to main chain. Basically leveraging the Ethereum community that already exists, the technology that's been built on it, seeing that there's use cases already makes people feel comfortable. And then it's also future-proofing your solution, with the opportunity of potentially having your private networks connected to the main chain eventually. You're not putting yourself in a box or potentially creating a system that might become a legacy system very soon. The deployment, it was really designed for easy and reliable deployment. So I'm not sure how many of you guys saw the presentation or spoke with Kaleido, but it can really be done in minutes through them. You can also avoid vendor lock-in, which becomes a challenge when you're going into a more closed system. And you have access to a lot of enterprise tooling that's through the Ethereum community. And then there's also the part of native tokens. So the benefit of having secure, scalable, and fast asset transfers by tokenizing those assets, that's fairly unique to Ethereum. So when do we use which blockchain? It really depends on how you're setting up your solution. One, how is the governance managed? Is it, if it's centralized, we can forget about single party. We're all blockchain evangelists here, so we're not too concerned. But if you have a decentralized and unrestricted, decentralized governance model for all participants, then a public blockchain does make sense. Whereas a more restricted model, if you have a federated system, with one organization kind of leading the fold, then permissioned blockchain makes more sense. Then transparency comes into play. Transparency isn't important for everyone, but when it is, a public blockchain makes more sense, is across that spectrum. And then, does that data need to be private? For the most part, permissioned blockchains are the option for most enterprise organization, most consortium models, but there are use cases for public blockchain. Now, the product suite across Pegasus, we've got HyperLedger Basu, which is obviously our community product. It offers both public and private chains. It has advanced permissioning. We also offer off-chain privacy. Interesting enough, actually, with the advanced permissioning, we are introducing group modification with the permissioning, so you can bring people in and out of your private network based off of any changes that come up. And we'll be releasing that on March 14th. Stable and fast finality. And like I said, we have simplified deployment, we have a lot of monitoring options, and we offer end-to-end encryption. Pegasus Plus is our commercially licensed option that's built on HyperLedger Basu. It's really designed for those who want to get to production much faster or don't have the resources to necessarily do everything they need to do in-house on HyperLedger Basu. So it offers extensive database encryption. There's event streaming with Kafka or ConsenSys. There's increased monitoring functionalities, and it's fully vendor supported. Our latest product, Pegasus Orchestrate, is garnering a lot of interest because it really simplifies all the in-betweens of your base layer or protocol and your actual applications. So it handles all of the transaction management that's required, nonce management, it has private key storage, it does smart contract registry for custom contracts as well, and it's multi-chain and multi-protocol. So you can work on public or private, and it can live off of any Ethereum client, not just HyperLedger Basu. So this is how they would exist in an ecosystem, really. Your first layer, your Ethereum client, HyperLedger Basu. We have our private transaction enclave, which is Orion, which manages all the private transactions. We have an external key manager, ETH Signer, that works across platforms. Pegasus Orchestrate also offers HashiCorp Vault for Pegasus Orchestrate. And then the layer 2, which is all the smart contract registration, all the transaction requirements, and really simplifying them into everyday business language and functionality. And that's really it. I tried to keep it within 10 minutes. But obviously a lot less. Any questions at all for me?